Welcome back. I'm Courtney and this is Co-Creative. So we just returned from our trip to the Great Smoky Mountains and it was beautiful. The fall foliage was just peak in most areas, and it was wild how quickly it would change from just a little bit of color to really just pow in your face, red and orange and yellows, and it was just gorgeous. So we rode around from pretty much in between Asheville all the way to Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge area. We went through trails. We went the Blue Ridge Parkway. We went, where else did we go? The Chattahoochee Valley. So we were all over the place for 3 days. We rode through and saw waterfalls, rivers, just leaves. So it was a beautiful trip, and we came back with a lot of inspiration. And so today I'm going to paint the mountain range and the skyline. And I did practice a little bit yesterday. I did practice. So I am new at painting, really. If you're new to this channel, I would call myself a novice. So yesterday I did practice a little bit with the colors that I wanted to use and just the techniques, because I'm really not sure how I want to go about it other than just seeing what I'm seeing in the picture, and I want to translate that onto the canvas. So today I had one practice round and we'll just see what happens today. I am trying something new today that I haven't done before, and that is I've painted my canvas using burnt umber and white, and this is just to tone it, and which sets the mood for the painting. And so I chose a more neutral color just to see. I mean, there's a lot of information on it, and it can really make your paintings look a little more professional. So I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. I also went through and kind of outlined where I want the mountains to go. So we'll see. We'll see if we stick with that or if I change it up a little bit. I'll flash an image of the picture that is my main inspiration for this one, and we'll see at the end if see how it goes. So thanks again for joining me, and let's get into it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to start with the sky. So I've used this cerulean blue, and so I'm going to put this on the canvas and see how it goes. Let's see, this translates to how I want it, and like in the picture you'll see that it's more of a bright blue at the top, and then it kind of goes into the clouds, and then you move into the mountain range. And so when I was playing around with it, I noticed that I had a tendency to kind of make the range a little bit parallel to each other, which, you know, when you look at a mountain range, they kind of vary in height and all the things. So I want to be mindful of that. So I think this one in particular was Fork Ridge Overlook, and it's on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's basically going up from Balsam, Waynesville area up into going to 19. So there's a strip of the Blue Ridge Parkway that goes that way, up that direction, and there's a ton of overlooks. You have Soco Falls, you have Water Rock Knob. When we got up there, so we did that for the first day, and we rode through Cherokee, came up through 19, then hopped on the Blue Ridge Parkway at the Soco Falls, and then went our way all the way back down into Balsam where we were staying, the Moonshine Creek Campground. It says it's located in Silva, but it's just outside of Balsam, and that was fantastic. Like, it was a very beautiful campground. I would highly suggest staying there. If you enjoy camping, I would definitely make a point to stay there. When I was talking to the manager of the campground, he was saying that the couple that was going to be at our campsite was going to stay for a month, and that or 2 months actually, and they ended up canceling. So, which was really common, evidently, at that campground. People will stay long term. I'm going to put a little bit. See, it has a purplish, the clouds have a little bit of a purplish tone to them. So I'm just going to add some cerulean blue, and what is this? Do I want, maybe I'll do cadmium red. We'll see what this does. This is a lighter red, but we'll see. I'm just going to add not even a speck, just a tiny little bit of a dab in here to get more of a purple undertone to my gray. We're going to do our base here. Kind of work that in there. And then I'm going to come up here. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the actual mountain range now. You want the colors here to reflect that of the sky. So I'm going to have kind of a gray background, but I'm going to add a hint of blue to that, so it gives it a more bluish color in the background because it's reflecting the sky. See, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of come in. This is going to be a mountain range. Just kind of pull that up. There you go. That's all you're doing. Just kind of getting that in the background. And so, and then each layer I do, I'm going to come in and make it a little bit darker because I want to give the illusion, well, I want it to look like it's getting closer and closer, right? I'm wanting to incorporate the sky color into it, so I've got a base and then a little bit more blue, just a different shade than what's in front here. So I'm kind of doing that, and as I do this, I want it to look like peaks and valleys, right? Peaks and valleys. So I'm just pushing it up in here. And this is where I have to be careful. I don't want it to all look like it's the same right there. So I'm going to pull it down here. So maybe push that one up just a little bit more. And push that there. Bring this in here. So it kind of, I don't really know how I want that to look. Maybe kind of bring it down this way. So then I'm going to bring, so right here is going to be really close mountain. And then this is more, let's see, this is going to be a little bit darker. This is where I was struggling last night to get the texture, because at this point you can start to pull in the texture of the trees, and that's where I was struggling. I'll flash an image of it, where I wasn't quite sure how to get that texture of the trees. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play with it and see what I want it to do. And I kind of want it to come down like that. And what I have done right now is I am marrying my brush, which means I'm using the same brush for everything, which honestly I tend to do without, I don't know if it's just because I don't feel like washing it out, or if I just get used to using it, and so I don't change it. And maybe that's just what it is. I'm just used to using this brush and I don't want to change it. So I really don't want to have any more blue. I want to focus in on really darkening to a brown and starting to find the colors in that. So we're just gonna, let's see, kind of the range goes down this way. And then there's a range that comes up this way. We're just gonna pull it up here. So maybe come in like this. And this is for those of you who know what you're doing. Maybe you have some tips and tricks that will help me along the way as I learn. Because sometimes instead of just studying, I just go for it and figure it out as I go. So right here though, this is where I want my tree line of trees to really pop, because this is where there's a close mountain and you can actually see the trees, and it kind of goes up here and then they go off into the distance. So I'm going to do trees there, and I've kind of kept it more muted tones, which I'm liking more than I did the other day. I thought my paint colors yesterday were a little bit too overbearing in the front. It's like I went from no color in the back to really strong colors in the front, and I thought that was a little bit much. So I do like the more muted tones today. Like it's, I don't know, it seems to be speaking to me more than what it was yesterday. But hey, I might go in here and screw this up too, I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. What I am wanting to do is I did find that I liked having that shadow there. There's kind of just going in, doing that, and putting in darker tones where you would go down into a valley, and then lighter tones where you would have a peak. And you could definitely do this with different colors. I kind of wanted to put, I am going to actually put more of the yellows and the oranges. I'm just playing around with it right now to see what I like. So let's see. There we go. I'm liking it. So we'll do dark here, dark in here. So this is where, I don't know, part of me wants to just keep it the way it is, but I'm not. So we're just gonna go in here. Oh golly, I don't know, but I'm gonna explore it because I'm just not feeling it, and I want it to be, I don't know what I want it to be. I think I want it to be more exaggerated color. So this is a bit more than I wanted. I mean, these are bright colors, right? And I probably should mute that down a little bit. But I think it'll darken as I go. Okay guys, so I wanted to go back through, and I didn't really like how it had ended originally because it was a little bit more of a brown tone than I wanted, and I wanted to capture all the colors, and so I think I really captured all the colors here. There's a lot of fall color in this, and a lot of what we saw too. It's not exactly like the photograph, but I would say it's my interpretation of the photograph, and I really like this more than how it ended in the how it originally was going to end. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time.